Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
The harsh, sterile light of the delivery room reflected off the white tiles, making everything feel surreal. Sweat beaded on my forehead as another contraction hit, more intense than the last. Logan gripped my hand, his fingers interlaced with mine, offering a wordless promise of support. "You're doing great, Madeline," he said, his voice strained with emotion. "Just a little more." I focused on his words, using them to push through the pain. The room buzzed with activity, nurses moving with practiced efficiency. Dr. Harper, my obstetrician, stood at the foot of the bed, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to my internal turmoil. "One more push, Madeline," Dr. Harper encouraged. "You're almost there." With a final, guttural cry, I felt a release as the first baby emerged. The room filled with the sound of his cries, and a nurse quickly took him to clean and swaddle. My body barely had time to register relief before the contractions started again. "Another one's coming," Dr. Harper announced. "Stay strong." Logan's grip tightened, his face a mixture of pride and concern. "You can do this, honey. Just a little longer." I bore down again, every muscle in my body straining. The second baby followed quickly, his wails echoing his brother's. And then, as if determined not to be left behind, the third made his entrance into the world. The room buzzed with the cries of my 3 sons. I collapsed back against the pillows, exhausted but elated. Logan's smile faltered as the nurses brought the babies over. His eyes widened in shock, his grip on my hand loosening. "Madeline, what's going on?" he whispered, his voice trembling. "Why are they?" I looked at my sons, their skin a rich shade of brown, so different from our own pale complexions. Confusion and panic gripped me. I opened my mouth to speak, but no words came out. "Mr. Hayes," Dr. Harper interjected, trying to diffuse the tension. "Sometimes genetics can surprise us. There are many factors that can influence a child's appearance." Logan shook his head, stepping back. "No, this can't be. Madeline, what did you do?" Tears blurred my vision as I reached out to him. "Logan, please, I don't know how this happened. I swear I didn't." "Enough," he shouted, his face contorted with anger. "Get out of my sight. Take your bastards and leave." His words cut through me like a knife. The nurses exchanged uneasy glances, unsure of how to proceed. Dr. Harper stepped in, her voice firm. "Mr. Hayes, this is not the place for this. Let's take this discussion elsewhere." But Logan was beyond reason. He turned and stormed out of the room, leaving me shattered. The weight of his accusations pressed down on me, making it hard to breathe. One of the nurses gently placed my babies in my arms, their tiny bodies warm against my skin. I looked at them, my heart breaking. "Shit, it's okay," I whispered, though I wasn't sure who I was trying to comfort, them or myself. "Mommy's here." Cecilia burst into the room, her face a mask of concern. "Madeline, what happened?" I saw Logan leave in a rage. I couldn't hold back the tears any longer. He thinks I cheated on him. He said these babies aren't his." Cecilia's eyes hardened with resolve. "Nonsense. We'll sort this out later. Right now, we need to get you and these babies home." With her help, I dressed and gathered our things. We left the hospital in silence, the joy of my son's birth overshadowed by Logan's betrayal. As we drove away, I looked down at my boys, vowing to protect them no matter what. "Everything will be all right," Cecilia murmured, her hand on my shoulder. "We'll get through this together." I nodded, trying to believe her, but deep down, I knew our lives had changed forever. The days following our abrupt departure from the hospital blurred into a haze of exhaustion and heartbreak. My mother's home, once a sanctuary of childhood memories, now felt like a fragile refuge from the storm that Logan's departure had unleashed. Each morning, I woke to the cries of my newborn triplets, their tiny faces a constant reminder of the questions I couldn't answer. My mother, Cecilia, was my rock. Her presence was a balm to my frayed nerves as she moved around the house with practiced ease, her nurturing spirit guiding us through the chaos. "Madeline, you need to eat," she insisted one morning, placing a tray of scrambled eggs and toast in front of me. "You can't take care of them if you don't take care of yourself." I stared at the food, my appetite long gone. "I can't, Mom. I can't stop thinking about Logan, about what he said." Cecilia sat down beside me, her eyes filled with both sadness and determination. Logan is a fool if he can't see the truth. These babies are a miracle, and they need their mother to be strong. We will get through this. Nodding, I forced myself to take a bite, the bland taste barely registering. The truth was, I felt lost. Each day was a struggle to balance the endless cycle of feedings, diaper changes, and trying to piece together what little remained of my sanity. The nights were the hardest. Alone in the dark, the silence amplified my fears. Logan's words haunted me, an echo of doubt and accusation that threatened to break me. One evening, as I rocked the triplets to sleep, Cecilia entered the room with a determined expression. "Madeleine, we need to talk." I looked up, dreading the conversation. "About what?" "About the future," she replied, sitting down across from me. "You can't keep living in limbo. You need to make a plan. Logan isn't coming back, and you need to move forward for the sake of these children." Her words, though harsh, rang true. I had been paralyzed by Logan's rejection, but my children needed more than a mother who was barely holding on. They deserved a life free from the shadow of doubt and fear. "You're right," I admitted, my voice trembling. "But I don't know where to start." Cecilia's face softened. "One step at a time, darling. First, we need to secure a stable home. Then, we'll figure out the rest. I'll be here every step of the way." Her unwavering support ignited a flicker of hope within me. Together, we mapped out a plan. The first order of business was finding a more permanent place to live. My mother's small house was cozy but cramped, and with 3 growing infants, we needed more space. The following week, Cecilia and I toured several modest apartments. We eventually settled on a 2-bedroom unit in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't much, but it was a fresh start. Moving day was a blur of boxes and baby gear, but with Cecilia's help, we managed to create a home that felt safe and welcoming. One night, after the triplets had finally drifted off to sleep, Cecilia handed me a cup of tea and sat beside me on the couch. "You've come a long way, Madeleine. I know it doesn't feel like it now, but you're stronger than you think." I sipped the tea, letting its warmth soothe my frazzled nerves. "I just want to give them a good life, Mom. They deserve that." "And you will," Cecilia assured me, her hand squeezing mine. "One day at a time, we'll rebuild. Logan's absence doesn't define you. You have the power to shape your future." Her words resonated deep within me. Despite the uncertainty that lay ahead, I realized I wasn't alone. With Cecilia by my side, I could face the challenges and create a new path for my family. The storm was far from over, but I was ready to navigate it, one step at a time. 5 years had passed since Logan walked out of our lives. Our new home had become a sanctuary, a place where the triplets, Ethan, Ella, and Elijah, grew and thrived. Cecilia's unwavering support had been my anchor, guiding me through the storm of single motherhood. Yet, just as I began to feel a semblance of stability, the shadows of the past crept back into our lives. One autumn evening, as I was tucking the kids into bed, I noticed a small, unmarked envelope slipped under the front door. My heart pounded as I picked it up, the familiar sense of dread washing over me. "Mom, is everything okay?" Ethan's voice was small and sleepy, his dark eyes wide with concern. I forced a smile, hiding the envelope behind my back. "Everything's fine, sweetheart. You get some rest, okay?" After ensuring they were all asleep, I retreated to the kitchen and opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside was a note, written in Logan's unmistakable handwriting. "You can run, but you can't hide. I will make you pay." The words sent chills down my spine. I sank into a chair, the note crumpling in my grip. How had he found us? We had moved cities, changed routines, even adopted new surnames. The idea that Logan had tracked us down filled me with terror. Cecilia found me in that state, her face etched with concern. "Madeleine, what is it?" I handed her the note, unable to speak. As she read, her expression hardened. "This has to stop. We need to go to the police." "But what can they do?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "They couldn't find him last time." "We can't live in fear, Madeleine," Cecilia replied, her tone resolute. "We need to protect the children. We need to protect you." Reluctantly, I agreed. The next morning, we visited the local police station. Officer Reynolds listened intently as I recounted our history with Logan and handed him the threatening note. These notes have been coming for years, I explained, my voice steady despite the fear gnawing at me. Every time I think we're safe, he finds us again. Officer Reynolds nodded, jotting down notes. We'll increase patrols in your neighborhood and keep a closer watch, but I need you to be vigilant. Any suspicious activity, no matter how minor, report it immediately. As we left the station, a sense of unease lingered. The threat of Logan's presence overshadowed our every move, a constant reminder that the past was never truly behind us. That night, as I lay in bed, I felt a surge of determination. I couldn't let Logan control our lives with his threats. We'd had come too far, and I refused to let him drag us back into the darkness. Cecilia, I said, my voice firm, we're not running anymore. We're going to face this head-on. She squeezed my hand, her eyes reflecting the same resolve. We'll get through this, Madeline, together. The morning sun streamed through the kitchen windows, casting a warm glow over our breakfast table. The triplets chatted excitedly about their first day at the new school, their voices a comforting hum. Despite the recent threats, today marked a new beginning, a fresh start in a town that, for now, felt like a safe haven. As I poured cereal into bowls, Cecilia entered the room, her presence as steadying as ever. You ready for this, Maddie? She asked, handing me a steaming cup of coffee. I took a sip, savoring the warmth. I think so. It's just, I hope this time it's really a new beginning. She nodded, her eyes filled with empathy. We've come a long way. This is just another step forward. After breakfast, we walked the triplets to their new school. The children's excitement was infectious, and I found myself smiling despite the lingering anxiety. Ethan, remember to ask if you need help with anything, I reminded my eldest. He grinned, his confidence shining through. I will, Mom, don't worry. Ella tugged at my hand, her eyes wide with curiosity. Will you pick us up after school? Of course, sweetheart, I assured her, squeezing her hand gently. I'll be right here. With a final wave, they joined the stream of children heading into the school building. Cecilia and I watched them go, the silence between us heavy with unspoken concerns. Back at the house, we busied ourselves with unpacking the last few boxes. The physical activity was a welcome distraction, each empty box a small victory. Maddie, Cecilia called from the living room, come take a look at this. I joined her to find a photo album in her hands. She opened it to a picture of Logan and me on our wedding day. We looked so happy, so full of hope. Sometimes I murmured softly, I can't help but wonder how everything fell apart. Cecilia sighed, closing the album gently. Life has a way of testing us in the most unexpected ways. But look at you now, Maddie. You've come through the storm stronger than ever. I nodded, but the weight of the past still lingered. It's just hard to let go of everything that happened. Logan, the threats, it feels like they're always there, just behind me. Cecilia placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. You don't have to carry it all alone. We're in this together, and you've got 3 beautiful children who need you more than ever. Before I could respond, the doorbell rang. My heart skipped a beat, but I forced myself to breathe and opened the door to find our neighbor, Mrs. Harris, standing there with a plate of cookies. Welcome to the neighborhood, she said with a warm smile. I thought I'd bring over a little something to say hello. Thank you, Mrs. Harris, I replied, taking the plate. That's very kind of you. She glanced inside, curiosity evident in her eyes. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask. We're a close-knit community here, always looking out for each other. I appreciate that, I said, genuinely touched by her kindness. After she left, Cecilia and I settled in the living room with the cookies. Maybe this really is a new beginning, I mused, feeling a flicker of hope. Cecilia smiled. I believe it is. Let's focus on building a future that's brighter than the past. The rest of the day passed in a blur of activity. I tackled job applications while Cecilia organized the house. The sense of purpose and routine was comforting, a reminder that life could still move forward, despite the shadows of the past. As afternoon turned to evening, I returned to the school to pick up the triplets. Their excited chatter filled the car as they recounted their day, their joy a balm to my weary soul. Mom, we made new friends, Ethan exclaimed, his face alight with happiness. And the teacher is really nice, added Ella, her eyes sparkling. I smiled, the tight knot of worry in my chest loosening just a bit. I'm so glad you had a good day. This is a new beginning for all of us. That night, as I tucked them into bed, I felt a sense of peace. We had faced so many challenges, but we were still standing, still fighting for a better life. The triplets' 10th birthday dawned with a sense of celebration and new beginnings. Balloons adorned our cozy living room, and the table was laden with a homemade cake and presents. I watched my children laugh and play, their happiness a testament to our resilience. Just as I was lighting the candles on the cake, the doorbell rang. Expecting more guests, I'd opened the door with a smile, but my expression froze when I saw Logan standing there. He looked disheveled, his eyes haunted. "Madeline, can we talk?" he pleaded, his voice cracking. I stood firm, blocking his entry. "What are you doing here, Logan? You have no right to disrupt our lives." He ran a hand through his hair, desperation etched across his face. "I know I've hurt you, but I've come to make things right. I've learned the truth, Madeline. The triplets, they're mine. Of course they're yours," I snapped. "You abandoned us without even considering that." His eyes filled with regret. "My mother confessed everything to me. She told me about her affair, that I have black ancestry. That's why the triplets look the way they do." A mixture of anger and relief surged through me. "And you expect me to forgive you just like that? After all these years of torment?" Logan nodded, tears brimming in his eyes. "I don't expect it to be easy, but I want to be part of their lives. Please let me try to make amends." I stepped back, allowing him a glimpse of the joyous celebration behind me. "They're happy, Logan. We've built a good life despite everything." "I can see that," he whispered, voice thick with emotion. "I've missed so much, but I'm ready to do whatever it takes to earn your forgiveness and be a father to them." Before I could respond, Ethan appeared at my side. "Who's this, Mom?" I looked down at my son, then back at Logan. "This is your father, Ethan." Ethan's eyes widened in surprise. "Dad." Logan knelt down, tears streaming down his face. "Yes, Ethan. I'm your dad. I've been gone for a long time, but I want to be here for you now. For all of you." Ethan glanced at me, seeking reassurance. I nodded and he stepped forward, tentatively reaching out to Logan. "Are you really going to stay?" Logan pulled him into a hug. "I promise I'm here to stay." As the triplets gathered around, curiosity mixed with cautious hope, I realized that maybe, just maybe, this could be the new beginning we all needed. Forgiveness wouldn't come easily, but seeing my children embrace their father, I knew it was a step worth taking. We spent the rest of the day together, sharing stories and laughter. Logan's presence brought a sense of completeness that had been missing for so long. That night, as I watched my children sleep, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. Logan and I had a long way to go, but for the first time, I believed we could truly be a family. In the end, it was love and forgiveness that triumphed, healing old wounds and paving the way for a brighter future. And as I lay in bed, I whispered a silent thank you to the universe for giving us this second chance at happiness.